You smell what The Rock is cooking.
Acknowledge me.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
We are bad to the bone. Get it? Bad to the bone.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'll fight anybody who do you want. Just let me fight him.
Let me tell you something, Jim Ross.
Mega power, yeah.
We got it for you.
We are the best of the best.
Woo! Wheeling, dealing.
Smart marks.
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Welcome to Talk 'em in the Building, a show, a pro wrestling podcast where we focus specifically on the pro wrestling promo, as it were. Here joined by my compadres, my lucha libre aficionados out in Atlanta and the ATL. I got our resident historian, Greg. What's up, Greg? How you feeling tonight, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. Ready to rock on this show. I'm excited about tonight.
I am really excited too. And, thinking about, who we're going to talk about tonight, it's my pleasure to introduce you also my other homie out in Atlanta. I got Adrian, the boss over here. What's up, Adrian?
What up, man? What up? What up? What up? Like, comment, subscribe.
That's right. That's right. And I'm gonna run with the nickname you gave me a while ago, Adrian, the professor. This is Adalid. I'm out here in Los Angeles, California, and together we are Talkin' Pod. If this is your first time joining us, thank you. Thank you for giving us a chance and to listen. And if it's your return, enjoy the show because it's going to be a special one. We're looking at one John Cena as we are looking forward to. This is the last match. He said it himself on Jimmy Kimmel. He is not going to wrestle anymore, right? Maybe an appearance here and there, but, Big Match John is down to his big match, ultimately. And we're here to talk about it. And we're here to do a little bit of a retrospective through the lens of the promo. Again, we only talk about the promo in isolation here. And we're going to dig into it because here's a dude that is now a 17-time world champion. And, even for the non-fans, when I explain what a champion in pro wrestling is, that means the company has had the trust, not just in you as a performer, but the trust in you financially to carry a brand, to carry a company. And he's done it time and time again. So it's a unique time to look back at his career, but also just fun because we're of an age where we've literally seen this guy grow up, right? From beginning to end. And I can't think of the last time I was there to see that fully in its, formation, especially being out here in California. And we're going to dig into something about that later tonight.
Nice.
To now this and seeing him be not just a pro wrestling star, but a fully crossover star that a non-fan can fully recognize, right? So again, this is Talking in the Building. Check us out, the back catalog as intothebuilding.com. We're also on Spotify and, of course, the Suplex Dinner Club Network here. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir.
We are celebrating 2 years, so how better to celebrate than to regale tonight with some thoughts on one John Cena. And I'm going to open with this question, fellas, tonight. Before we dig into the promos, I want you to think about John Cena because there was ebbs and flows in popularity. There was ebbs and flows in what the IWC thought of them, what the hardcore side of them, what the casual side of him. And I want you to think for yourself, when was that moment? However you want to categorize it, however you want to justify it, what was that moment that made you think John Cena is that guy? He is that guy that no matter what happens, I'm probably going to be watching, right? Or at least I'm going to be interested in. Greg, I want to hear your thoughts because so much of what we talk about in the pod here is the historical reference for what it is. And it's weird to talk about this historically because we're living it.
Right.
But we're going to look back at this moment in 20 years and be like, oh yeah, that was significant. That was some fork in the road. What does a John Cena mean for you in terms of realizing that was a guy? Was there ever a moment for you?
I think it's when he beat Big Show at Mania. I think that was the biggest one for me. Is the whole Thugonomics piece I thought was entertaining.
That was fun.
I didn't know where we were going to go with it. I didn't know if it was sustainable. It was entertaining. But seeing that crowd, and during a lot of this time, I'll be honest, I had checked out, right? I was not
Yeah.
huge into wrestling, right? But I remember watching that one and him kind of captivating me a little bit because he still had that edge to him that was like, I'm a cheat.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna cheat, and I'm still gonna be the person I was before. I think that was the first time I truly saw the star power that was there. I just didn't know how sustainable that character was gonna be. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Because it's like it's just, there's a ceiling there. And
Yeah.
then of course a couple of years later he changed that character a lot from the rapping part. Whether he should have or shouldn't have, debatable. But I think that was the first time that really jumped out at me. That was like, yeah, this dude has something different.
It's so funny you say that because I remember hearing a Big Show interview and he talks about how strong he is, right? He's like, no, he legitimately put me up and was not really straining. I mean, just that feat in and of itself, right, was something to see. Um, Adrian, I'm come to you because I'm thinking Big Show. That's well into his run. He's had a definition to his character, but this
Absolutely.
was put him over the top, right? He went from a wrestler to an attraction, right? We always talk about attractions in pro wrestling. What was that era or that moment for you for Cena?
Well, honestly, man, I was kind of late to the party on Cena because I always gave him a side eye.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the Doctor of Thugonomics, that was funny,
Mm-hmm.
but that's all that I viewed it as. I always
Sure.
thought it was like, it's entertaining, cool. Um, I didn't really like turn per se on John Cena or my appreciation for John Cena until hell him facing Daniel Bryan SummerSlam.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Like where I it's one thing about being a Laps fan and then coming back to wrestling while Twitter is a thing and you read and see others' opinions on this era of pro wrestling that you weren't watching live,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it was always a perception, especially after Nexus. Like
Yeah.
after the Nexus decision and all of that, the perception was John Cena's just gonna do whatever's good for John Cena.
Yep.
So screw John Cena. That's basically what the sentiment was.
Mm-hmm.
When I watched how he and Daniel Bryan went at it going into that pay-per-view, and they're in that pay-per-view or the match where Daniel Bryan beats him finally for a championship and all of that and all the theatrics beyond that, which was a fun year for me as a
Mm-hmm.
wrestling fan. Super fun year. I saw it and I said, that's a professional.
Yeah.
For what he's doing to this wrestler who hasn't been outright chosen by the company to be the man or anything like that. He's doing business with this guy. And he's making him look as though he should be there standing with him. And from that interaction, from that back and forth and all that, I had so much more respect for John Cena. And from then on, I had a better appreciation for him.
Right. As
So
someone that understood how to do business ultimately,
yeah,
right? Which maybe
yeah,
wasn't the case. It's a dog eat dog world in that
Mm-hmm.
right,
backstage politics.
exactly, yeah,
And you have to correct. Yeah, Greg, do you want to add to that?
I was gonna say because there was a time where it was just Super Cena,
yes,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and I think having grown up in the Hogan era,
mm-hmm.
and it was always Super Hogan. But I will always say that Hogan fought from underneath all the time because he was always beat down. Cena wasn't.
That's
Cena was
true.
always Super Cena. It was
Yep,
always
Yep.
bury the
from the jump.
Nexus,
Yep.
be the sole survivor at Survivor Series, all these different things. I think that's where people started to turn against him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think going back to your point, he earned that respect later,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
but it took him a long time
It did.
because
This
in the
is true.
beginning, people got behind him, like we're talking about against Big Show, people behind him and all that.
Yep.
Fast forward a year, that crowd had already started to turn,
Crapping on him. Yep.
Yeah.
and because it was Super Cena, Super Cena, Super Cena, and it's just kind of it carried on that way for a long time. And then you hear the stuff behind the stage that he buried some people. But
Yeah.
I think to your point, Adrian, he did flip that later on. But I was checked out half of that time, so
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't come back until he fought the Miz in
Yeah.
Atlanta because I was going. So there was a huge gap there where I didn't see that run.
Yeah. It's interesting because I do think of those eras, especially the Super Cena era, where I think a lot of us were tuned out. They were not for it, and it's like, oh, well, he wins again, right? And it's like it was by the numbers, and clearly wasn't designed for our demographic.
For us, right? Yeah.
And I learned that later, which I'll share here briefly. But for me, it was a moment. I don't think anything changed significantly after that. But it was the first time Brock comes back from the UFC in 2012.
Is that Miami?
And he's in the ring, and he's acknowledging that they're chanting for somebody that he can't acknowledge, and you hear the music, and he comes and just wreaks havoc, and he does what Brock does.
Yeah.
But it was interesting for him. We're talking about him burying people. For him to be in a position to be like, no, I am gonna play my part, and down to this year where he lost to Brock Lesnar again, like just got pummeled. There was like there was no argument about who won that match and who was a dominant one. But even then, there was almost this idea of like, I've kind of reached the mountaintop. I'm okay playing, having some sense of that I can be destroyed. And it's like any true superstar. You think back and you think about like how long, Hogan's top run was, how long Austin's longest run, even Rock's. They did so much in a few years that at some point it was irrelevant if they lost or not because they were on a different stratosphere of who they were. And I think for me, kind of gathering our thoughts here, what I'm hearing is that it took them a little longer to get to that point, to feel almost like I'm okay losing. Like I'm good. Like ain't nothing going to happen to me. Right.
Right.
I had a unique experience. I rarely share this, but I think this is an appropriate time to actually there was a point in time where Cricket Wireless, they were doing these commercials where they would surprise the crowd, right? And they would promise, like they were using the meme, it's John Cena. So they reversed it on him, and I did answer an audition, and I got to be part of it, and it was interesting to see him in action early on in Hollywood, right? Early on in these commercials, and you got the cameraman, and he was very demure. The production, actually, something that doesn't get told us he had like a long shooting day shooting something else. So by the time he came to us, we were the last thing on the schedule. And they shot the commercial. You can look it up online and whatnot. But just a real dude who knows who he is. And even in those moments, again, it wasn't a meet and greet. It basically became one. But just understood who he was and understood that, like, if he was talking to a kid, he's going to be a certain way. If he was talking to someone like my age, he was talking a certain way. But there wasn't this air of, I'm here and I'm a professional and I'm like, I'm an actor and all right, we're done with the shoot. You guys go that way because clearly you're paid extras, essentially, right? You're day workers. No, he's like, let me take my time with you guys. And everybody got their moment. And he was there with the WWE representative and the suit and everything. And then he whisked them away and off he went to the night. Obviously, I met him under very different circumstances, right? Than you would at a meet and greet where you're being rushed. But it was fascinating to see early on kind of those seeds of professionalism that now he's kind of has as a hallmark for
sure.
And seeing them, in 2017 already, and seeing like, okay, like I mean, you've been on a movie set at this one. He'd shot, several things, but just kind of, so many wrestlers try to shake off that label of I'm a wrestler. I don't even Rock did it, right? And then he kind of came to, I was like, man, that's not a good thing. Maybe I should embrace it and let society deal with it, essentially, And I think, it's been interesting to see this evolution of how disliked and how turned off we were to WWE because of him for a long time.
Yeah, he's a major catalyst
would tune out, right?
Yeah.
And if you go back and listen to him, it's like it was by design because he didn't say no to anything that the boss told him unless he really disagreed with him. And it was almost to a fault.
And he was in that position of following the legends.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about I mean, in a college football term, following a Bear Bryant, following a Nick Saban, following these legends, you're that next person. You're not going to live up to that. Like, it's impossible. And he walked in and had to follow The Rock. And had to follow Austin. He had to follow a Goldberg. I mean, and just that level star, right? A star that was the Attitude Era, the Nitro Era, whatever you want to call it. He was the face of the ruthless aggression era.
Yeah.
And where we went PG to a guy who's not a PG guy, if you ever hear him actually talk. And he was in that unenviable task. And then they tried to recreate the 80s with him, if you will. And he had to earn that respect for a long time. And he just, I think they fell into a situation where they kind of booked themselves into a corner with what they could do with his character as well. But yeah, I don't think it was all on him, but I mean,
no, for sure.
You look at his run, you cannot argue, in my opinion, when you look at a total run, the greatest run of any superstar of any era. Because you have longevity at the top.
Yeah.
You've got a star who, when you walk, I kind of look at this when you look at these runs. How many actual superstars can you walk out here, show a picture or say a name outside of the wrestling bubble, and they know who you are? Austin, Hogan, Flair, Goldberg,
Rock, that's it.
Rock, and maybe Taker.
Macho, that's it.
But it's very few. It's a very select few.
Yeah.
And when you jump into this more modern era, past the Attitude Era,
it's not the case.
It's Cena.
Yeah.
It's not Roman.
Yep.
It's not Cody. It's not Swerve. It's not any of these guys. It's one person, and it's Cena.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he's almost in that different stratosphere, even on top of those with time, if he keeps like just putting productions out. And we'll see him in probably the next when we did see him in Superman. Like, what am I talking about? Right.
James Gunn loves him.
Yeah.
He says he's a true professional. He loves John Cena.
Crazy. Well, props to that, because even after retirement, I'm looking forward to see what he does as an actor, because clearly there's a lot left there. But Greg, you mentioned that he was following a lot of superstars. So for this first promo of the night, we're gonna go through the eras here. Let's take you to the Thugonomics. We're gonna touch a little Super Cena there. We're gonna touch some Hollywood John Cena, and he's made it, right. And then I almost call it this postmodern Cena, this seasoned vet who's learned a lot and comes back and like, you youngsters, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is a youngster at 39 or 40, however old he is now. But we're gonna start tonight he's gonna be following a few superstars, but he's gonna be following them at the Royal Rumble. This is from Royal Rumble 2003, and he has a unique way of entering the ring by doing what? Creating a promo.
I'm rocking this thugonomic style. Yo. Besides open mics, one thing that gets me boiled is an old school 30-man battle royal. I'ma win this. I'ma make my impression. Show Vinnie Mac that I got ruthless aggression. The odds were even until you chose me. Now it's 29 dudes and one ruthless MC. Yo, it doesn't matter, kid, because I rip your nose off. I can battle your off, kid. What you talking about? 3 reasons I'ma win this. Reason number 1, I cut you up like cucumbers. Reason number 3 is hard for me to explain to you. But I'ma win tonight and go on to WrestleMania. The Royal Rumble's just another test that I got to pass. Y'all dudes are like a kid with one leg, you half-ass. Yo, what you talking about, kid? You can't touch us. Throw the double clutch if you down with untouches. Yo, it's my year. I suggest you take the year off. I'm sick like Tyson was when he bit Holyfield's ear off.
Ah, do you like the rap, JR? 90 seconds or what the hell he's saying?
I left
Get your shit off, Jake.
Get your shit off.
90 seconds of what the hell is saying. Oh man, that's like the line. That's my favorite. It's not even Cena's. Adrian, dig into that. I mean, I don't know. Some of those bars are rough, but
I'll give him credit for coming up with some bars that are relevant to what he's trying to get to and all of that. Like I'll give him credit for that. Like it's pro wrestling, man. Like I'm not about to just overanalyze and say it's 5 mics or 4 mics. Like it's pro wrestling, man. It's pro wrestling.
yeah.
That's part of his stick and all of that. For me, just period. Like, I didn't watch this as I was not a pro wrestling fan at this time, so
Yeah.
I can't give you my feelings when it was actually happening. But from what I just saw, but
Yeah.
I'll give him credit for that. And I laugh. I love the fact that you did save the JR line because that's what I was thinking. And I love hip hop. I love rap. But
For sure.
but I was thinking the same thing. I was like, you're just talking to me talking, Cena. You're just talking to me talking. And shout out to that Astros jersey because I mean that was the era of throwback jerseys, and that was a 101 jersey for those of us growing up who wanted to get that was the jersey that I told my parents, hey, that's what I want for Christmas. Because Big Boy of Outkast had it on which album was that? Southern? Nah, that wasn't even. That was Aquemini. He had that jersey, and I said, "That's the jersey I want because it's cool." I don't know anything about the Houston Astros. I just want to wear that jersey.
Right.
So I'll give him credit for that.
It's like starter jackets in the 90s. Like you didn't really care. You was like,
exactly,
looks cool,
exactly.
Right?
That was the wave. That was the wave. It fit in all that. But when it comes to the lyrical content, man.
Greg, were you watching at this time? Did you have like any memory of like this? Because I'm kind of with Adrian. I don't have a working memory of this.
Not really. I remember him rapping to the ring, but most of the time, unless he was talking about somebody, it just didn't connect with me. And just watching that just then just didn't make sense to me. I mean, watching that, and I've seen. I can't help but think about others who've rapped to the ring. PN News, R-Truth. In my opinion, they were all better. Men on the Mission was better. They could flow better. They had, I mean, I'm not going to say any of them had the most creative lyrics in the world, but it's like, as a heel, R-Truth just made better sense. This was like forced.
Yeah.
I felt like he was just
100%,
very forced.
100%.
And I feel like his element is talking about somebody, not just coming to the ring like that. It just and then the other thing is my disconnect is he's just out there rapping and nobody gonna come out there and grab him.
Yeah, right.
Like can somebody do something? There's just a logic there. But the best part of the whole thing was JR saying that.
Right.
And I'm sure right after that JR bragged about signing him as a contract because that's what he likes to talk about.
Of course.
But,
Come on.
This is true.
But I'm sure JR's like, I signed him. I'm the one who went out to California.
Him and Batista.
Yeah. But no, seriously, that one just totally did not connect with me at all.
There's a rub, right? Because we all know the backstory about how he even gets the gimmick, right? Stephanie McMahon hears him rapping in some kind of like tour bus or one of the international tours or something like that. It's like, hey, why don't you do that on TV? And he's on the chopping block, so he's like, the hell, why not? But what's interesting when I was looking back at the timeline is he hasn't been there that long at this point. I don't think he's even been on the main roster for more than a year and a half, maybe, because when he signed from UPW in California, he went to OVW. He didn't go straight to the roster.
Right.
So there's a little delay. So that's 2021, early 2021, we get signed. This is 2001, sorry. Yeah. 2001 and then 2003. So this is still a pretty green
super early stages,
and for him to be on on TV already is kind of insane if you think about it. But biggest takeaways is because they don't show certain parts of the camera, they don't focus fully on him because they're cutting to the crowd or they're cutting to other shots. It almost seems like he's stumbling as he's walking. He can't keep that flow, and then he forgets. And he's like, "Oh, I'm still gonna make this rhyme work."
Right. I'll give him props for keeping it going, you know.
Yeah.
But it was, man.
Yeah. But again, it's experimental because, like, if you go back, he is a fan, you know, he is of a certain era when he was exposed to certain music. Like, there's some legitimacy to, you know, his flow or like even the way he's putting this together. But in this context, you know, it could have felt a little corny, it could have felt a little bit forced, but you know, it is what it is of its era. So y'all listeners, if you enjoy this era of Cena, please let us know, and let us know why, because I'm very curious, because I was definitely missing this. I think I was a senior in high school when this is going down, so I don't think I was fully paying attention to wrestling as much. So with that said, we're going to talk about eras. That's a very significant era in Cena's career, because without that and without the failings and the successes of it, and downright sometimes it's a little brutal in terms of, like, you know, we start digging in to the language, even though it wasn't the Attitude Era one. Sometimes I'm like, it was a little weird to hear him talk about this because of who he would become. And who would become is something that we mentioned early in our opening conversation, is there's this narrative that he was pushed and he was shoved down our throats, right? And he becomes Super Cena, right? He's invincible. He's winning match over match. And throughout this process, he's acknowledging it. So we're going to move forward to October 2007. So just a few years, not too much longer. But you start seeing the cracks. You start seeing this self-acknowledgement from John Cena, and here he is going to be in a backstage.
John, I got to be honest with you. Some people have said you haven't been yourself lately, based on the actions of Randy Orton this past month. They say that from a psychological standpoint, you may have already lost your match.
They say that Randy already won?
That's what they say.
They're saying that, like, I'm probably not even going to show up. I bet they're saying that Randy Orton is like 10 seconds away from being the next WWE champion. Todd, it's time we had to talk about they. They're a creepy group. They're always out there, and they're always talking. Listen, you can hear them. They're saying that I've lost it. They're saying they've seen enough. They're saying that Cena sucks. They're saying it's Randy's time. They're saying you have naked pictures of Umaga on your website.
On your website.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know. And that last part is completely true. Sick freak. But amidst all their talk and their opinions, deep down they know that No Mercy is my time. They know that at No Mercy I can be hit with steel steps, steel chairs, a ring rope, a ring post, a ring bell, a microphone, a cell phone, a chicken bone, a snow cone, a student loan, anything Randy Orton can hold. And I will get up. They know that I will stand tall in the middle of the ring, wearing my own blood if I must, but I will get up. And they have seen this look in my eye and know what it means. It means put any man in front of me, call their mother and tell her I'm sorry. Regardless of what they feel, they know that on the grandest stage, when all the cards are down, when the weight of the world is on your shoulders, there is one man who will always deliver and never, ever quit. Let him talk. Because at No Mercy, I say, I will beat Randy Orton so bad, they will never forget it.
Who is this elusive they, Greg? Who is he talking about, dare I say? What do you think? I mean, this is a difference. It's drastically different from this, you know, the Thugonomics Cena. So what do you think? This backstage it's live to tape. You can hear the crowd reacting. How did he do, you know?
So what's interesting to me is I felt like he channeled his inner Rock.
Ah, yes.
Down to the sick freak, down to bringing up you have naked pictures of Umaga. That's a Rock type of reference.
Yeah.
Yep.
I totally feel like even when he was talking about the student loan and this and that, the way he delivered all of that was very similar to The Rock. I think what we really, when we started to see the John Cena part coming into his own, was post saying the whole, where he rattled off the chicken bone and said student loan, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Then we started to see the Cena part. I feel like he was still trying to find himself. And I thought that last part was good.
Yeah, for sure.
But the whole other part, and I don't remember this, to be honest, at all. So, but it just felt very rockish. Just very much. Just the terminology, the delivery, and everything. But you start to see those flashes of what we will see later on.
And, you know, I'm trying to do like a quick Google search because you did remind me. I'd wonder, was Brian Gerwitz, who ends becomes, you know, Rock's de facto writer and goes off and starts the production company, is he still there at that point? Because, you know, you wonder if Gerwitz has this particular way of writing promos. Maybe Cena delivers that way. And you're right. It's almost like a tale of two promos, right? It's this promo where it's like Rock had his Michael Cole with the frosted tips, and here's Todd. That's his Michael Cole, right? And all I needed was to throw a shirt over his head or something, or, you know, and push him out of the way. But it's interesting to see him also be just yell a lot. I don't know. That was kind of one big takeaway. It was like once he knew the camera was on him, his just the way he was even speaking to the camera exchange was that was a good catch there, Greg. Adrian, for you, and if you're thinking about this era of Cena, and again, this is early Super Cena, right? Like you hear in the crowd, you know, the high pitched voices, the women and kids love him, then the males, that deep bass is already getting the boo birds out. But what did you think about this particular promo?
Take away the first third of that promo, and he's cooking. I'm in it. This is my first time watching professional wrestling, and I'm watching this wrestler 2/3 into that promo. He is who I should be cheering for. Simply put, the energy's there. The first third is just weird. It's just weird little side jokes, and I just think that whoever wrote that kind of failed him in that first third, and luckily his talent made up for it, because that the second half, or the 2/3 ending of that promo, we were all enjoying it. We were enjoying the energy. We were enjoying what he's talking. He's talking his talk. Like, this is professional wrestling. But that first third, they could have kept that. He could have kept that. He could have kept the little jokes, calling the guy a sick freak. Like, it was kind of cringe when The Rock did it, and The Rock's kind of more charisma, has more charisma than you. So they're in.
There it is.
You shouldn't do it. So,
and the difference, the other part with that is the difference is when The Rock did it, he referenced something that's happened on the show. When he just did it, he referenced something that's online. And the IWC in 2007 was this big, whereas the IWC today is this big.
True.
So that's why there was no reaction. If you hear, there's no reaction to what he said.
Yeah.
And there was 2 jokes off of it.
Yeah.
And from what I heard, Cena's very much aware of, back then, who knows now, but very much aware of the dialogue online. I think as much as
he always seems like it. Yeah.
If you're smart, you got to know what people are saying. At least you got to dip your toe a little bit. It is interesting to see him kind of deviate. And you wonder, too, if he's still in a point in his career where he didn't feel comfortable saying no, where he didn't feel comfortable completely saying, like, I don't know if that's something I would say, but hell, I'm a company man. Let me just try it. Right?
That's now that you say that, that's probably the peak point of him just saying yes to everything.
Yeah,
that's part of the reason.
Okay.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why we got that Super Cena era. So
exactly. All right. Well, I just mentioned earlier in the pod that one of my favorite eras, just because I felt like he started acknowledging a little bit more about his place in time, was 2012. Now, what I mentioned 2012 was like later in the year. I'm going to take you to 2012 earlier in the year. And this is a pretty infamous promo where, let's say, he didn't, and there's some real life behind this now that we know, he didn't like how The Rock comes back, right? So let's look at this part-timer promo here with Rock and John Cena from 2012.
This is too much fun. I was not going to miss this. I mean, you actually referred to me as Kung Pao Chicken. Kung Pao Chicken. Only The Rock could refer to me as Kung Pao Chicken. It's genius. It's absolutely brilliant. Because every single Chinese restaurant you go to, it's always there. It's perfect, Rock. And this is perfect Rock. The Rock comes out, does his shtick, holds the millions in the palm of his hand like only The Rock can do. But I must admit, I didn't come out here to swing for the people's strudel or whatever you call on your penis nowadays. I came out here to tell you you were right. You're right, I am that guy. I'm the guy who runs you down when you're not here. But as usual, just like everything else, you're only half right. Because I'm the guy that runs you down when you are here. You see, these people love The Rock. I was one of these people until I got to meet Dwayne Johnson. And Dwayne Johnson is a self-centered, egotistical, see-through son of a bitch. That wouldn't give a rat's ass if this company closed its doors tomorrow. Now, I'll tell you something, Jack. I don't need words like respect and loyalty to trend worldwide. Just like I don't need my notes for my promo on my wrist. Nice tattoo. So here's the skinny. April 1st, when the millions see John Cena versus The Rock, John Cena is going to be eyeing up Dwayne Johnson. And I don't like Dwayne Johnson. You probably make your boobs bounce. There'll be a thing on your eyebrow that looks like the people's eyebrow, but I'm going to be looking into the eyes of Dwayne Johnson and see a man afraid. Because you're going to be looking at a dude who may not have balls, but a dude who is going to beat the hell out of you at WrestleMania, Jack.
It's a weird line.
Uh-oh. Carry on. Continue trending.
And the little shot for those of us listening on audio, he points to the back of his shirt. Hustle, loyalty, respect. And Adrian, how disrespectful was this promo to The Rock? Because later find out he did not like some of that stuff for sure.
For sure. Absolutely. You could I think this promo you're seeing more of John Cena versus the past that we've heard. He's more so free. He's literally freestyling on a lot of that, and I'll give him credit for presenting that in a fashion where he's being disrespectful to his opponent. Like at this point, we gotta look back at how we perceive The Rock at that point of just everyone's perspective of The Rock at that point was he's a multi-millionaire movie star. Like he's a mega millionaire or he's a mega movie star. And like this was his coming back to wrestling. And this was John Cena's opportunity to get shots in on The Rock. And I think they were well landed in a lot of those, like you just finished saying. According to reports and all that kind of stuff, The Rock didn't care for a lot of those, but that's good. That's pro wrestling. That's conflict. That's what actually makes us look at it like, oh shit, like they're really going at each other. So, that was the John Cena that I like to see when it comes to the promo.
And still like not fully formed, right? You kind
For
of mentioned
sure.
he's getting there. He's finding that confidence. But
Right.
Greg, I want to kind of stick out one point just to get your thoughts going. But he makes this distinction of no longer looking into the eyes of The Rock, but looking into the eyes of Dwayne Johnson, a label that Rock actually was trying to push, right? He was trying to almost minimize the name of The Rock. Later, you can say because he didn't own it and he was licensing it from Vince, and I think now he owns it. But now there's a distinction of like, I'm not talking to a character, I'm talking to the man, right? What do you think about that frame of this the structure of the promo, or anything else that stuck out to you?
So I think what was unique about it is because this was face versus face.
Mhm.
And what Cena did is he made Rock a heel in many eyes, including me.
Yeah.
So when he put it out there, you're not here. You just came back for some glory. You just came back. The Rock was, we love The Rock, but I don't like Dwayne. I see right through what you're doing. I see why you're here. You're here to manipulate. You're here for this, this, and this. And so I think this is when Cena's at his best, is when he does mix in the truth. And when he does mix in, like you talked about the promo prior to this, Adrian, you kind of said that last third of that last promo felt real. It kind of was. And so a lot of this promo is real. And you can see on The Rock's face, and he ain't that good of an actor, especially at that point. He was not happy. And like you said, when he called him out for having notes on his wrist, bro.
Yeah, he was eating it.
And it was that type of thing that he was positioning him to say, look, I'm here each and every week. I bust my tail for this place. I'm building this place.
Right.
You could care less. You're coming here for a paycheck. You don't care if we went out of business tomorrow. And I think when he kind of blurred that line to say, oh, The Rock's here for this, but Dwayne, the true person behind this little character everybody wants to do sing along with or whatever, the true person is a jerk. The true person is selfish and all that. And I think that's where the art truly is. Because I don't recall seeing a face versus face main event for any big card
Other situation
where they actually did something like that prior to this. After this, they did some positioning, but this was straight promo work that says, I'm going to position you as the heel. And you can hear a little bit of that because the crowd, for the most part, wants to see Rock win.
For sure.
Right.
But that crowd right there had a lot of mixed reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting time. And then the thing we don't even talk about is like Punk plays a role in some of this too at some point. Like, it's a weird kind of time capsule of the time, right?
I mean, if you think about it, what we said, and I actually will agree, and The Rock said it, I'm a bigger star than you, Punk. This is why I'm going to take the championship from you a year later. Which is true. I mean, it was true.
Yeah.
But if you take what Cena just said,
it goes
100%.
Right exactly
Dwayne doesn't
happened.
care. Dwayne wants to come in and make glory for himself. And it doesn't matter to him if he has to bury Punk to do it. Which I don't believe he buried Punk on the record. But
no,
that's a different discussion.
No. He did.
But at the end of the day, that and we've all discussed this before, that feud did not need the title.
For sure.
No, not at all. Oh my gosh. It felt so superfluous. They should have come up with that Rock championship that he got from Muhammad Ali. Whatever. It's just been like, here it is. This is the one. It would have served the same purpose. You're totally right on that one. I always think it's funny because later on, if we were watching at that time, they do have a picture of Rock's wrist, and it's like sweated off. You can almost read the notes that he has on there. It's like,
it's rough.
like, man, he got you. Like that's fair game. But
he said nice, and he said nice tattoo.
Yeah,
nice tattoo.
And I remember
by the way.
this. Yeah, I do remember this promo because I was back in at this point because this is post Atlanta WrestleMania.
Yeah, this post Punk and the pipe bomb. So like definitely a lot of us were like kind of locked in strong, right? And this was, dare I say, this was a little bit of a bummer of a feud because they're like Rock and Cena, like really, like, you know, this is a main event type of deal. We were more interested in the lower card almost. Well, I'm gonna keep this theme going because as much as I wanted to look for promos that you know highlighted feuds, and there's some great ones out there. The Edge feud, where you know Rated R Superstar era, and you know that had some great promos too. But I want to bring us to the future because now when Cena comes back in the later years, right after 2020, he's an elder statesman, right? He's still at the top of his game, but he's not. Like, you know, he's almost become Rock in a weird way where, you know, this 2012 Rock where he's coming back for a couple of matches, for a couple of runs, but he's not doing, you know, a full run on, you know, on every show. This is when he comes back in 2021 to, let's see, tell off one Roman Reigns.
I'm going to pack you up on a private jet, send you back to the movie set, send you back to Hollywood. But I want you to enjoy this. Tulsa, this might be the last time that we ever get John Cena again. So take us home, kid.
No problem. You want a compelling story. You want to hypocritically criticize me for saying dick jokes and then bring up sexual positions and a breakup that I've had. You haven't been embarrassed. You've been protected. This pretty face, those giant bars of soap you got for teeth. You've been protected, Roman. You've been protected by the Shield. Hell, you almost ruined Seth Rollins. You ran Dean Ambrose out of WWE. You've had 10 whole years, 5 WrestleMania main events, Paul Heyman in your corner, 2 lackeys to do your dirty work, the protection of the system, and it still isn't working. You need to be embarrassed. You people want a compelling story at SummerSlam, right? You people want to be at the edge of your seat, wanting to know what's going to happen. You are right about so much. SummerSlam will be compelling. I will go to a Hollywood movie set and you will smash me. But he knows better than anybody how much punishment I can take and never quit. I've been against the odds my whole freaking life. I built Suplex City, and all I need to do is just hang in there. 1, 2, 3. And you're the biggest failure in WWE history. You have to shine. You have to smash and bash and overachieve. All I need is 1, 2, 3. And you're the answer to a trivia question. Who did John Cena beat to become 17-time champion? Wah, wah, wah. You're going to show up all full of yourself like you normally do and put on a hell of a show. I'm just going to hang in there for 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to take your title. I'm going to jump the barricade, and I'm going to run out of Allegiant Stadium as fast as I can. I may even blow you a kiss goodbye.
Hey.
This is what you don't get, young man. It's inevitable. No one can protect you anymore. At SummerSlam, the champ is gone. 1, 2, 3.
Almost on cue. We got a John Cena who, again, loves to drop that mic, right? But Greg, I want to come to you because now we got these parallels where he jumps on Brock for being a part-timer, for being an invader. And now we got it we got a turn where he says, "Hey, dude, you've had 10 years. Where are you at? Why do I have to come back and put this company on my shoulders?" Talk about this, a little bit of a heelish promo from Cena in a way, if you really think about it.
Well, yes, I love watching that promo because it puts me in the mindset of what happened prior to this when him and Roman faced off one other time, and how watching that, how Roman carries himself totally different
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
that
compared
was
to
a
that
learning
last one.
lesson. Yeah.
But watching Cena in this promo, it's the confidence that he knows he has a star across from him that can hang with him. That's my
Yep.
opinion. It's like there's a part of him that's like, this is going to be fun because now I can bounce off this dude and he can take it. And just like what we just talked about with The Rock, some realism, some pieces that come into it that I guarantee you Roman didn't know was coming, and mixing a little bit of that Heyman stuff. This is Cena at Cena's best, in my opinion. Like when he can bring in that realism, when he can bring in those little jabs, but you got to have the right person to play off of, and he did, because Roman played it perfect. He didn't, he didn't cower or nothing. And to me, that felt like two stars standing in that ring. And the cool thing about that, contrast that to the promo right before. We saw Roman cut the end of his promo, and you see you see Cena walking back and forth, and Cena's just chomping at it. You could just see he's like, "Oh, you're giving me stuff, man." You could just see it like in his face. And he and according to whatever, we didn't see the whole thing that Roman said, but Roman took some jabs at him personally. Contrast that to The Rock and Cena. Put Cena's in Roman's shoes. Rock is in Cena's shoes. Rock's pacing back and forth, pissed off. Cena's pacing back and forth, like, licking his lips, licking his
Loving it.
chops. Like, here we
Loving every
go.
minute
Let's
of it.
go.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's the difference between those two. Rock, when he's in his element, is fine. But in this case right here, I think you contrast those two, and Cena can just riff. I don't think Rock can riff as much as we think he can. As you look back, he has so many people writing for him with Gurritz and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like Cena can riff off of it and just roll. And I think you saw it right there.
It's a great point. And a great point, a testament to his ability to do that too at that level, right? Because we're not talking these mid-card level feuds or like this is your main event. This is closing the show. And if you don't walk with that swagger, if you don't respond with that swagger, it's dead in the water. It don't matter if you're John Cena or not. But something that stood out to me, and you made light of it, was this confidence that Roman has, right? Because you need that dance partner. And you see him be bashful and he's smiling and he's almost like incredulously looking at it. What's funny though, and I want you to think about this, Adrian, too, is like you look at Heyman and he's the one that just like petrified. He's like, what's going on? It's like, oh my gosh, we got this version of Cena, right? But it was funny to see a non-confident Heyman and just kind of be scared because usually he's not that guy. But Adrian, thinking about this promo, and Greg did a great job of kind of comparing it to the last one. What do you think about this level of confidence? Because at least to me, it feels like this is not just a seasoned wrestler, but someone who's now a seasoned actor too. Hate to say it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was my initial thought about it. I was like, clearly he just finished that movie with Amy Schumer or whatever. Like the control of the crowd. Like he established a 1, 2, 3. Wrestling crowds are simple, ladies and gentlemen. Like
Yes.
Make no mistake about it. Wrestling crowds are simple. And you set up something from the jump. You talk your talk. And then you put that little bit that you gave them at the beginning so they can stay engaged with you. And then you end it off with that same point. That's how things get over. And it just truly shows that was an evolution of John Cena, of him understanding as long as the people are with me, I'm good. And one thing about wrestling fans, we get distracted easily. We'll throw beach balls during a match that's actually pretty good just because we're bored. But if you keep us engaged, you give us I mean, if you want to just say wrestling fans are simple-minded and you got to give them a little hook here or there, it is what it is. That was perfect manipulation of the crowd to have that crowd actually behind John Cena. To actually have think about where wrestling fans' heads are during this feud at that time.
Yeah, man.
Think about who our two options. We either pick the guy who's been the chosen one for all of this time, that's been pushed down our throat, and he's facing the guy that's been the chosen one for all this time that's been pushed down our throat. Like, us as wrestling fans, we're all like, what the hell? Who are we supposed to choose? Yeah. But because John Cena had that kind of control and understanding of the crowd, understanding of the momentum of what us as wrestling fans were thinking, he manipulated a lot of people into saying, I'm with John Cena on this. In fact, I never could say I was like a huge John Cena fan. In that feud, I was a John Cena fan. I was cheering for John Cena, SummerSlam. I was cheering for him. I mean, I know you were cheering for Roman, Greg, but I wasn't. I was like, I want John Cena to win. Screw that. I want John Cena to win. He's been cooking him and all that. It just shows the level of confidence and understanding of the crowd, of perception. John Cena is a master of perception. The crowd's with you, you're over. I can say whatever the hell I want, and the people are going to push me to wherever I need to be.
This is true.
Yep.
This is true.
I think you hit it on the head. The fact that like you said, there's a dance partner here, right?
Right.
And they're both generations of the same character, if you will.
Absolutely.
I think when Cena came out, I think it was at SummerSlam when he came out and confronted Roman after the match, and that place lost their minds.
Mm-hmm.
And think about before that, it's let's go Cena sucks. Every single place you went. It's a testament to what Roman and Heyman were doing. At the same time, absence makes the heart grow fonder of Cena not being around. And then Cena coming out and confronting Roman, it was magic. I mean, you think about it, if he had been a full-timer at that moment, that could have gone for a year.
Very much so.
Man.
And it should have.
Easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Circumstances, man, but it shows the magic, right? The reason we love we will love pro wrestling, but the promo, how the guys haven't touched, and you're like, man, how is this gonna go, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just talking smack to each other and in different ways for different reasons, but they're all rooted in some semblance of truth, and I think that's what makes it always so powerful. Before we dive in, if y'all humor me here, got one last promo that I want to share out, and I'm going to encourage you to think of your Dusty review, even though we're not doing a Dusty rating, but it's just indulge me here on this last one. But
I'm hoping,
listeners, we'll see. I don't know. If you've made it this far, listeners, and those watching us, thank you for joining us again. This is Talking in the Building, Pro Wrestling Podcast. We focus on the promo. We talk about the talkers. We hype the hype men. We pontificate on the promo. And you can check out the back catalog on intothebuilding.com. Check us out with all kinds of shorts, reels, long form episodes. We got our Rushmores of wrestling that Greg leads here. And we go back and, choose our favorites and have a discussion. And look, even on our Dusty reviews, we don't always agree. But that's the beauty of it, because we're three unique individuals. We come with a very different perspective, some ways similar perspectives, but he wants you to be part of the conversation. So, drop a comment, a like here for this show. What are your favorite Cena memories over the years? And what do you think about this goat, this living goat that we're about to experience? His final run here and his last Raw.
Yeah.
But I'm a child of Los Angeles. I'm an Angelino at heart.
Mhm.
And John Cena came to Los Angeles looking for a dream and eventually had to settle for wrestling. But what a settle he did, because look at him now. And this starts out here in UPW, which was a local promotion out here in Southern California. And this is where Cena first got his feet wet with a character that he was working on at the time called the Prototype.
John Cena is developing a character called the Prototype.
How dare you? Smelly. Mock an engineered genius like the Prototype. I look in your genetic lunchbox and find a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with the crust cut off. Understand this. You, like the rest of the humanoid scum, look into these eyes, and you go from a wrestler to a victim. Understand, when you get in the ring with the reigning UPW champion, you have no chance. I am 50% man, 50% machine. You are 100% fatality. Ah!
Not much to
All right, Greg, I'm gonna come to you. You're in Southern California. You're a young teenager, as I was in 1989. This is middle school, high school. I'm flipping the channels. Is this enough to talk you into the building? Talk about it.
I mean, not that one. I remember that documentary. I've seen that documentary, the UPW documentary, and I remember seeing some promos of him doing the Prototype. I think the actual promos of him doing the Prototype in the ring and all that kind of stuff are much better than what we just saw.
Right,
But
right.
he was invested, and I think that's the key. At that time, he's invested. It's an independent. Does it talk me into the building per se? As an independent, maybe a little bit, because I'm curious. If that was on WWE, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would make me intrigued from an independent standpoint, especially in that time of frame. But yeah, UPW had a lot of characters.
And as a local, it was funny because we had, Channel 13 was our local UPN affiliate at the time that ran SmackDown, and they would always have a feature, and UPW was always a thing. When you had a Frankie Kazarian did something, you would see Christopher Daniels on the news, and then I think Cena probably made a run in one of those news reports right after SmackDown. But Adrian, do you have any recollection or any kind of thoughts on this? Do you remember? Did this ever make your rounds? What this existence was?
It didn't make any rounds, but I will give it credit. Just judging it from a vacuum, like John Cena is a freak of nature. Like, this is like, look at him physically. Like, physically, the dude's a freak of nature. And it's one of those, I mean, it comes down to the Adrian Club club test. Like, it passes it because it's like this huge ass dude. I don't care what he's talking about. He's a big ass fucking dude, man. Like, if I'm into pro wrestling, I'm into physiques, I want to watch that. So that for me, I'll just go and strip it down to the foundation.
Yeah.
It did the job because he's fucking huge, man. Like, when he did his first flex and I saw his biceps, I'm like, God damn, dude.
He never looked that jacked ever
the
again.
hell? That's what I'm saying. Like, it was like, this dude
always
is
remember
huge,
bodybuilder
man.
Cena. By the way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Always remember those armbands he wore were headbands.
Yeah,
that's nuts. Yeah. That's nuts.
About that.
Yeah. But in terms of the promo, it's 101. It's, it's nothing outrageous, but, like, we got to also acknowledge what stage of his career he is in that. So, like, for that, that's solid. Like, if I get an independent wrestler cutting a promo like that and believing in his character and going through that and looking that way, yeah, I'm giving you the belt, whatever.
Cole Cabana tells a story about him becoming a college football player because JR said like college football players, become wrestler. But he talks about going to pro wrestling school, and then, he's in shape, he's an athlete and whatnot. And he says like he looks around and, it's people that are out of shape, people that just went to the first, training and they got weeded out. And meanwhile, he's like trying extra hard to do it. And it reminds me of this where, not to say that anybody there didn't make it or not, but you can tell from a promo perspective, not from a physical perspective, they're floored. They're like, we have no notes. Right. That's good.
Yeah.
Because they say like, oh my gosh, like not only do you look like $100, like $1 million, you sound like it. Like you sound like what we think of as this prototypical wrestler, and you have a character design, you have a catchphrase. Like all you have to do is kind of put together some moves and you're kind of golden. And clearly, prior to that clip, they say not a lot of people make it into the WWE, even though we have a relationship with them. And if you followed UPW at the time, they would have their, their guys and Samoa Joe was there training and whatnot. But you also had every now and again, WWE would throw them a bone and send someone down, right? Send a wrestler down for the week, maybe for an appearance, maybe for a run-in. But there was this direct connection that, obviously there was some fruitful outcomes here for him, because obviously he has still had to work hard and get there. But I always think it's unique to see him because I have a very clear memory of seeing this version of him early on and being like, never putting it together later that it was the same dude, actually, surprisingly, but just saying like, oh, this dude looks like a wrestler, kind of like Adrian said. He passes the strip club test like 100%, right? But anyway, so that's gonna do it for us tonight.
Well, let me interrupt you for one second.
You want to close this out? All right.
Well, I just have one thing, because you asked me earlier about my first impression, not first impressions, but impressions of Cena. When did I see that he was going to be a star? But there was a time that I actually was introduced to him before he was going to be a star, not in person. So I actually brought a little promo too.
Oh, okay.
For you to look at. So, not sure that you guys have ever seen this one or not, but I do remember this on the elliptical.
Is there snow on the top of that mountain? Oh. What?
That was an actual Gold's Gym commercial, and I remember being at Gold's Gym back when they used to show that commercial, and I was on the elliptical going, that's a funny commercial. And then
that's wild.
Not long after that is when I saw the UPW documentary. I'm like, wait,
no way.
I swear that's the same dude that's in that commercial.
That's crazy.
And so that was my introduction to John Cena in the Gold's Gym commercial.
And that shows that he has that comedic understanding.
Yes.
Right. Dang, that's a great catch, dude. Oh my gosh, I never seen that.
And look how ripped he was there.
Yeah. No, that's next level.
That was sick.
And story goes, he comes to LA and that's where he's living, right? He's effectively showering and living out of his car through Gold's Gym because he's just trying to make it. Obviously privileged because like his parents are like, you can come back anytime. Like you don't have to be out there, but he's like, no, I'm trying to make it. Wow, that's a gem, man. That's a good find.
Nuts. Yeah.
That's awesome. So thank you everyone, and thank you Greg and Adrian for joining us on this journey across Cena's career, and salute to him for longevity, and salute also for also respecting that and acknowledging that you want to give it up to the next generation, and maybe you want to go out on top and have people remember you still with your faculties, still with this aura of who John Cena is over the years, and especially now. So again, this is Talking in the Building, always joined here by my homies, my Lucha Libre aficionados, Adrian and Greg out in Atlanta. But again, if you're first time listening, check out the back catalog, intothebuilding.com. Like, comment, subscribe, Talking Into the Building. Okay. And we'll see you soon. See y'all next time, and leave us comments. Tell us your John Cena memories. See you next time. Peace.